Hello everyone, and today's video will be about S2 best practices. When we move on to S3 and C1, we'll go more in depth on best ways to control rather than best practices to prepare for your training. But since S2 is something new and more evolved than S1, we're just going to do best practices for this one, as most of your in movement practices will be with your trainer in the sweatbox. Um, Starting off for S2 training flow, you got to really understand how you're going to progress through your S3 training. And you can see there's a couple self studies, but besides that, if you look, you start off at Lafayette. And what you need to understand about that is we are going to be focusing primarily on VFR aircraft and the VFR competencies in the local control section. So that's what you should be studying mostly when you're on the wait list and being prepared for your first 2 or 3 sessions is VFR competencies. As you progress, when you go to Milwaukee and Midway, it will focus on IFR aircraft, but there will still be VFR. Our primary focus first is going to be VFR aircraft. Again, if you go to the ZAU website, go to the training package. It has the documents, pictures, and diagrams for you going to get an S2 for your local control competencies. Look over every single item within this package. I've created this for you. Every single piece of information is there for a reason. Read it, understand it, and utilize it. Every single diagram is like, especially for S2, will help more. There's so many new things that you have to understand when you're going into the terminal environment. So please read the pictures, the documents, and everything because I still open them as a C1 to this day. If I forget something, I go to the S2 training package and open it up. Yeah, I use it still. So please go review it. Please understand it and utilize it. Again, coming back to our YouTube videos, you will see that we have the 201 LC and 202 Midway Milwaukee presentations here. Please go watch them, understand them, and ask any questions. Items to study while you're on the wait list. These are the important topics, and of course, it'll evolve into more competencies that you need to know throughout your training. But to start off, I'd say same runway separation. You need to understand when you can depart aircraft and when you have the proper separation without having to deal. There's a screenshot below, but we go more in depth than that in the presentation on the YouTube channel. You have the screenshots in the training package, and then you also have the general information and phraseology guide that goes step by step and all the information you need about same runway separation. You should have a general idea of how that works when you get to your first session. Second one is wake turbulence separation. Now, I would like to evolve that and not just wake turbulence separation, but wake turbulence advisories. For example, when you have a Cessna 172 departing behind a Southwest 737 that just departed. Is there separation that is required? No, there's not. But you have to remember, is a 737 going to cause some wake for a Cessna? Yeah, it is. So we want to let them know. We want to say, November 123 Alpha Bravo, previous departure was a Boeing 737, caution wake turbulence, on course departure approved, runway 4 right, clear for takeoff. That's the difference between an advisory and separation. Now, when I said that with the advisory, you do want to keep in mind that's basically the same phraseology if you had separation. The difference is when separation is involved, you have a time interval where that guy has to wait. So let's just say a 737 is going to depart after a heavy 767. He waits his 2 minutes, and when he's taken off, you say the same thing. Southwest 1234, previous departure was a heavy Boeing 767, caution wake turbulence, turn right heading 130, runway 4 right, clear for takeoff. You still gave him that advisory of the wake turbulence, but the time interval changes. So please know the difference between the separation and advisory. Talk about wake turbulence. A big thing, traffic callouts. You may not, actually, you will need to do it with VFR traffic, but traffic callouts is something we try to prioritize, and it's really what people have been struggling with. And if you don't have good traffic callouts, your airspace is going to be a mess, and most likely won't pass your rating exam. So understand the traffic callouts. We have them in the General Information and Phraseology Guide. Please understand that phraseology. When I went to my S2 training, and we were doing something as simple as doing pattern work and understanding the pattern. And I came in deer in like headlights, didn't know the simple phraseology. Please go understand the phraseology. Traffic callouts will expand throughout your training. You shouldn't be a pro when you go into session 1, but you should have an understanding. You should be able to say November 123 Alpha Bravo traffic, soft your nose to the left, 737 5-mile final for the parallel, report the traffic in sight. Like understanding that will help you a lot when it comes to your first session. And then simple VFR procedures. When I mean about simple VFR procedures, that may be flight following, going around, they just enter the pattern, and then your landing modes, traffic pattern, and then comes down to phraseology as well. Observe on the network. You're an S1, you can get on the network. I know most of the time you're not that busy. If you have a tower on above, you have C90 or center on above, tune in on its frequency and expand your scope a little bit, because if you're at Midway and you have tower C90 on above, guess what? You can see the operations at that airport. You could open the stars display and really understand what he's doing and learn on how he's handling traffic in the local environment. Keys for success. Number 1 is mastering the basics when it comes down to VFR. Know your local procedures. Understand the phraseology. That's the number 1 thing. Phraseology is really key here. And then your knowledge of your S2 competencies. Again, if you've watched the videos, you've opened that training package, and you have read the General Information and Phraseology Guide and really paid attention to it and read it multiple times, you should know your competencies. Ask questions and be coachable. Be open to feedback. We want to help you. Number 1 thing is aircraft are moving now. They're in the sky and you're handling aircraft in the air. It's not like you're working ground and you can tell a guy hold position before you have a collision. It's going to be a new learning curve. Aircraft are moving faster. We'll have less time to react. So this is a great time to ask questions and be coachable since it's a new learning environment and more fast pace. Write notes on corrections you made during sweatboxes. Each rating I had a piece of paper that had notes, and then also if something didn't work out, I would write what happened, what was the failure that happened, what correction did I make to fix that error. And then use all available tools. Review training materials posted on the ZU website. We can't say that enough. Please read. Like we put so much time, especially Joe. He put so much time in this, and please use it. Record your sessions. You should do this on. I'll say this in the S3 video too, but record your sessions. Listen to the way you talk, your phraseology, and just watch and see what went well, and also most importantly, what errors and mistakes did you make? And so you can see first-handedly while you're watching, why in the world did I turn this guy heading 130 towards this plane? Like, learn by recording your own sessions. It's very helpful. And also, don't be afraid to act. That's the number 1 thing when it comes down to close to OTS time. If you train with me, you'll understand this. The go around song, always go around is a great is an example of don't be afraid to act. Again, planes are moving. If you're about to have an SRS bust or a plane's about to collide, don't be afraid to act. Anything will be better than planes colliding or you having a bust. If that's going around, turn in an aircraft, climbing, just act on something. Those are S2 best practices, and let the training team know if you have any questions.